A lot of my friends, videographers, do buy crazy good cameras like this Sony FX30, but they do not set their camera properly to actually use it in a fast and convenient way. So today I'm gonna show you all the fast settings for better filmmaking with your camera with Sony FX30 as an example. Let's go. The first thing that you need to know is the function menu, and you need to customize it. So here we have my custom menu, and here on the top left we have the variable shutter function. So if we turn it on, you can see that right now my shutter is changing in a very slight value, which helps you eliminate some flicker. And it's a super nice feature which I really miss in my Sony a7S III, which is shooting me right now. So if you do have some flicker in your shot, just use the variable shutter and you'll be able to find a perfect setting. So now let's turn it off and let's get back to the function menu once again. So here we have our autofocus settings. First, autofocus transition speed, which I prefer to set at around 4, sometimes 3, 2. So you do need to customize it all the time while shooting to make sure that you'll be able to get the most accurate, the most natural shot in your image. So here we have it set to 4, and here's the AF subject shift sensitivity. So if you want the focus to stay on the subject and to lock on, you need to set this setting as low as possible. And if you want your autofocus to be as sensitive as possible, just stay on the 5th number and it'll do like crazy fast focus transitions, you know, it'll grab different people and all that. So you need to know how to use it. I do recommend you to watch Philip Bloom's video on YouTube. I'll leave a link down below in which he explains a lot of things about those two settings. So here we have our focus areas. So those 3 tiles are for autofocus. So here we have AF area, and if you need to set a zone, for instance, you can do it like so. If you use it for interviews, for instance, and your subject isn't moving and it's sitting on the right third of the frame, for instance. So let's keep it at wide. So here I have my white balance. I do have one more custom button for white balance, but I prefer to leave it right here as well if I give my camera to a second operator, so he knows that he can find the white balance setting right here as well. So here we have the picture profile setting. I don't shoot in PP off. I always shoot in picture profiles, either PP1, movie color, movie gamma, like I do now, for some courses, for instance, or some footage that I don't need to color grade. But if I do need to shoot in S-Log, I'll switch to S-Log shooting, which you can use right here, and you can toggle it on and off right there. I will not do this because my Atomos Ninja 5 is going to stop the recording because the camera is going to reboot. So let's get back to the function menu. So here we have the picture profiles if you need them. So here we have the peaking level because I have a custom button set to peaking on and off, and it is set peaking right on the button itself, so I didn't change it, not to confuse myself. So here you can just adjust the peaking level. It's not showing up right here because Atomos Ninja 5 cannot record the screen with peaking on. So let's get back, and here I have my record settings, which allows me to change the bitrate and my bit depth, 8-bit or 10-bit. So if I need to change the bit depth, I just go here and it's very fast and convenient to me. So here I have the zebras. I can toggle it on or off, and I can also adjust the zebra level on the next tile. So it's super fast, and I can pick 75 or 70 if I shoot in S-Log to color, to expose the skin correctly. And if I need to expose for the sky, I will set it to 95. So let's keep it right here. And here I have my select LUT. So I have my LUT for S-Log 3 in here. I can toggle it on and off in here. And also I have my steady shot focal length. If I'll be using a manual lens, I can just dial in the exact focal length for my lens in here. And I have a separate button for toggling on and off the steady shot. And we'll discuss it in a few seconds. So this is it. This is my function menu. So now let's get to the buttons and customization of those. So the custom button number 1 is set to auto ISO and exposure compensation. So if we go to the menu, And let's get here my menu, and we change the ISO to auto. We can now toggle this button on, and it will use the exposure compensation tool. So if I need to set my exposure to a certain EV value, I can do it right here, and the camera will adjust auto ISO to this particular value, which is nice. And if I toggle it once again, like right here in the menu, go to manual, I'll be just using the manual ISO setting. So the custom button number 2 is white balance, and it is set white balance right here on the body of the FX30, and it's an easy way to set the white balance. It's okay. Custom button number 3 is set to ISO, but I don't get it because my ISO is set to the wheel on the back. So button number 3 just does the punch in or magnification for checking focus. It's easy to me to reach it, and I use this button a lot, and my Sony a7S III also has similar customized button on kind of the same place. Speaking of dials, the front dial is for my aperture adjustment, the rear upper button is for my shutter speed, and it's much more convenient than it's set by default, and also the back dial is for the ISO, as you can see right here. So you have 3 dials and 3 settings: aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, and it's under your thumb and your index finger. So let's get back to the custom buttons, and we have focus magnify button number 5, which is not set to focus magnify anymore. I set it to AF MF switch, and I do prefer to use it occasionally because I need to toggle MF and AF on and off sometimes. So now let's get down to the wheel, and we have the display button, and you can customize what is displayed on the screen itself. So I leave it at display button. As you can see, the right button is for peaking value on and off. The left button is for my audio adjustment, so if I need to quickly adjust the audio level, I can do it with the left button. And the down button is set to steady shot. Turn it off, active steady shot or standard steady shot. It's also very fast to reach out to here and to adjust the steady shot setting. Also, we have the custom button number 4, which is a trash can button, and if I press it, you can see that I'm now in the focus map feature. If I need to adjust the manual focus, I'll be using this feature. Well, it's so windy in here, sorry guys. My lighting is just a trend, so don't be scared. And I forgot to mention that on the top we have 2 more buttons. The rec button, and it's set to record, so as you can see right here, it's recording right now. We have all of the tele lights, which are also customizable, and I have set the 6th button right here on the front of the camera to be the record button as well, because if I need to film myself, it's easier for me to just tap this button than reaching out to the big record button. And next to the record button on top, we have a little nipple, let me say, and if we press in, we can switch between frame rates: 25p, 50p, 100p, or if you set it to NTSC, you'll be able to switch between 24, 30, 60, and 120 frames per second. But keep in mind, if you switch in this mode from 25 to 50, for instance, you'll be switching to the previous bitrate and bit depth that you've set. So you need to set your camera to the exact bit rates that you need before shooting, or if you always shoot in 10-bit and maximum bitrate, it will be easier for you. And after switching to 50p, you'll be shooting in the bitrate that you've chosen. Or you can just hit the function menu button and double check the bitrate right here. It's even written on the screen, so it's easier for you to get used to it. So if I need to switch to 100 frames per second, I can do that. We have a little crop. And also if I tap the function menu button, I can switch between 10-bit and 8-bit functionality. So this nipple is great for switching between frame rates. Some people do use memory recall settings, so if we go to mode, here it is, MR1, MR2, and MR3, but I do not use those because when you set the memory recall function, you can set your shutter speed, white balance, ISO, and aperture. And when you switch to a different memory recall button, let's imagine that you are shooting in 3200 Kelvin, but you need to switch to 50 frames per second, but your memory recall is set to 5600 Kelvin. So you need to change your aperture once again, your white balance once again, your, I don't know, ISO once again, so it's not convenient. It's much faster to do this with this nipple and keep the settings and just adjust the just adjust the shutter speed, for instance, to match the frame rate, so double the frame rate. So that is why I do not use the memory recall functionality. I know a lot of YouTubers do recommend setting it up. I don't use it. If you think in a different way, you can write it down in the comment section below, and maybe I'm a dummy, who knows. I'm not. I'm just so used to using my camera this way. So I'll upload the file, you'll be able to download it and to install all of my dials and buttons into your particular FX30 camera, or you can just be inspired by this video and to simply kind of customize a little bit in a different way your camera. And by the way, I forgot to mention that the middle button right here is also set to menu, because I need to reach it out without kind of extending my thumb a lot. So it's set to menu, but you can also dial in any setting you want. So here it is, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell. And yeah, write it down in the comment section below how you customize your camera and some other tips and pieces of advice. See you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye.